Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I'm Ifat, the Demand Community Manager here at Metadata. Fun fact, Joseph used to be on the team with us, but I'm super excited for this session today. I hope you guys have some good questions for him. Feel free to drop them in the Q&A section at any point. And yeah, excited for today. You can take it away, Joseph.
Cool, yeah. So I used to be the director of digital strategy at Metadata, actually, helping everyone who's using the platform. So yeah, quite good to be collaborating with the team again. But today we're going to be talking about how to drive pipeline with sexy ads. Okay, amazing. We can see the slides. So first thing I want to go through is why B2B ads fail. Okay, so I'm going to go through that, and we're going to talk about how we can make actually really good ads and a few other things as well. Let's just dive in. So, why do most B2B ads fail? People don't like ads. I don't know if if you like ads, then I think you're in the minority. So like, I'm constantly trying to avoid them, even though I'm a marketer. Sometimes I go hunting for them, but if I know someone's actually trying to sell to me, I'm just like, go away, get away from me. So people don't like ads, actively trying to avoid them. Some stats here from 2023. So 70% of online users find digital advertising annoying and unpleasant. 72% say that bad advertising experiences have negatively affected their perception of a brand. So not only do bad ads not drive results, but they can actually scare people away. So imagine your sales team's out there trying to close target accounts. You're hitting them with really boring, bad ads, right? And you're not doing anything. It might actually make it harder for your sales team to close the business than helping them. So yeah, it's so important to get the ads correct. So this is the average person running away, trying to get away from ads. So everyone has ad blockers and all that stuff. Okay, but obviously we need to advertise. I mean, I run an advertising agency, so I know that you need to run ads, right? So you need to build a brand and you need to show up at the right time. And two things here from Harvard Business Review: 70% of B2B buyers start their search by Googling high intent terms like marketing software. 80% choose a brand they already knew before they started looking. So we need to try and show up when they're looking for stuff, and we need to be known before that. So obviously we need to advertise, but we don't want to make people feel like that guy. So another thing to set the scene as well, we asked B2B buyers. So I did a poll on LinkedIn, 296 respondents. I said, B2B buyers, how would you prefer to learn about software? Turns out it's not speaking to salespeople. What is the number one thing B2B SaaS brands try and do? Get demos and get meetings. Now I get it, right? That's my objective as well. Like I'm always trying to get meetings to happen, but it's the least favorite way to learn about a product. 12% of people said they prefer in-person demos, 27% interactive, 38% free trial, and 23% said I just want to watch a video that kind of breaks it down really quickly. But what is the thing that we all say in all our adverts? Book a demo, book a demo, book a demo, book a demo. And we say it so many times, constantly pushing book a demo. But it's the least favorite way for people to learn about a product is to book a demo. So we need to do more than just say book a demo. Because if that's the main thing you're saying, it can actually be a turn off. So when we are saying book a demo and we don't get demos, often we resort to ebooks. So this is roughly what people end up doing. They go, let's create some downloadable content because we need leads. They advertise that content, they get loads of leads. They add that email to a nurture campaign and they start talking about cost per lead like they're actually getting leads, when really it's just people taking a free piece of content. Sales try to reach out to those people. Turns out they only requested your ebook. They didn't request. And then the audience, and you get a really low conversion rate, sometimes as low as just cold outreach. So this is not the solution, just doing loads of gated content. So then when that happens, we go, all right, let's bribe the demos. So we're not getting any demos, let's give away loads of gift cards. And it can work, right? I've seen behind the scenes at Metadata and how much pipeline their gift card campaigns have driven, right? So it can work as a part of a wider strategy. But if all you're doing is bribing people to show up that are unaware of a problem and right at the top of the funnel, you pull them down, they're not going to be ready to solve. A gift card is not going to take them from I don't want to buy a software to I want to buy a software. You have to tell them a story. You have to actually find the problem, solve the problem, etc. And again, some people are just not ready. but they'll say they're ready because they want your incentive. So I know everyone who's run this campaign, usually you end up getting loads of unqualified, well, you get qualified leads from the right accounts, right people. They join the calls, and then the sales team's like, they were kind of just there for the demo. So they'll just lie to you and say that you're interested because you're giving away free stuff. I mean, the biggest incentive I've seen out there, I've seen the Directive marketing agency have offered up to $1,000 to get CMOs at SaaS brands to go meet them. I mean, I imagine how many people just took that money and ran. I don't know. Anyway, so then we tried to get your content. We tried to say and book a demo. Then we bribe it and it doesn't work. We don't drive pipeline. So what are we supposed to do? Well, I've had a lot of success driving pipeline for my clients. And I'm going to go through exactly how I do it. So first, you need a powerful story. I'm just checking if there's any questions yet. Great content with the huge rise of LinkedIn video tab. Do you think video ads are essential for, oh yeah, thank you for popping it up. Shout out to Fernanda. I'm just going to look at those. If you just ping them up at the end of the sections, you've had. Okay. Do you think video ads are essential for a 2025 ad strategy, or can companies rely strictly on static ads? I have clients who drive pipeline and they do not have any video ads live. So it can be done, right? If you get image ads right, you get convo ads right, various things, it can be done. But video is great to have. The problem is with video, it's very hard to create a really good video. It's very easy to create a good image ad. And that's what I'm going to go through now, is how to create an amazing image ad. And it's literally, we're going to cover it in like 10, 15 minutes, and then you're going to go away, send this to your designer, you'll have a good image ad. But video is way harder, right? You've got to hook people in, and then you've got to keep their attention. And realistically, you can't really expect them to sit around for 3, 4, 5 minutes. So you kind of got to get the message done ideally in like 30 seconds to a minute. And you got to use part of that just to do something funny to get their attention. So, I mean, if you really want to nail it, you just need very, very high quality production. I would look at brands like the $1 Shave Club, and there's also my favorite one, which is called Squatty Potty. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's like this thing, and you take it to the toilet, and it's like, anyway, Google Squatty Potty, watch the YouTube ad, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Google $1 Shave Club, and there's all these amazing businesses that were made off a video. A lot of them are B2C though, so I'd go and find amazing B2C video ads and bring them over to B2B, because yeah, a lot of the B2B ads, they're not the best. So I wouldn't use those as the formulas to try and replicate. But yeah, I guess long story short, yes, you don't need video, but if you do it, you have to be really strategic about it, because it's quite easy to just create a very poor ad. Like a lot of the ads I see, B2B, my clients will send them, or I'll see them online. I press play, 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, then someone starts speaking. I'm not hanging around for 3 seconds. I'm scrolling. See you later. So yeah, it needs to be quick and engaging, like all the stuff you see on TikTok and all the stuff that they do in the direct consumer world. I'd definitely steal from B2C. Okay. That was the only question, right? Cool. Okay. Powerful stories. So this is where it starts. This is where you have a lot of success. So stop talking about benefits and start talking about pain. If you say that you're going to deliver an insane ROI, or you're going to help people drive loads of revenue, or you can create this magical scenario, right? This is what people say. They say, okay, I'm doing an advert. What can I promise and say that you're going to get? So if I come to you and I say, okay, I can drive you loads of pipeline. Like you pay me this, I'll make you all this pipeline. Or give me $1, I'll give you $3 back. Everyone's going to go, bullshit, right? They're not going to believe me until they see the theory behind what it is that you can do to do it. And that's exactly the same approach you need to take with your B2B SaaS and any company really, is if you're promising something, you need to explain how. How do you get to a benefit? In B2B, it's with a business case, okay? You solve a problem with a solution that gives you a benefit. And it all starts with the problem. If you look at the biggest brands, the biggest software companies, they usually, unless they're just one of these behemoths, seems to be up there. But even Google, there was a problem. Finding stuff on the internet was hard. And then Google came along, did it in the best way. They weren't the first search engines, that's probably a bad idea. But ultimately, that was the problem they solved, is you need something. Where do I find it? Let me just ask Google. Simple problem, huge company, end of story. So Start with pain. It's a need to have instead of nice to have. Solves the current problem instead of preventing a future problem. People want to use it immediately because they've got pain versus should use it like a multivitamin. They're insensitive to price. Some of the stuff I've spent money on to solve problems is ridiculous. And I always get my friends actually tease me because I'll just buy like weird stuff like barefoot shoes. And I even had the shoes that were like finger shoes that go round your feet. I just bought them because I like heard this whole thing. It was called shoe spiracy. It was about how flat feet and trainers. Anyway, I just threw money at it because I was like, that's a problem. I used those shoes like 5 times. But anyway, I was insensitive to price, threw money away for no reason. Because there was a reason. There was a problem. They sold it to me. It's also an immediate priority, so people will instinctively purchase instead of having like the goal. Oh, I'll circle back in 6 months. It's like, okay, cool. If the pain's big enough, they'll go for it straight away. With that, it all comes down to this guy. So you've probably heard of the book called Breakthrough Advertising. I believe it's the greatest marketing book of all time. Everyone else seems to as well because they priced it at like £400 for a book. It's mental. He was a genius. His whole thing was around problems, solve a problem, business case for B2B, etc. So it kind of gave us this problem awareness funnel, right? Which is people are unaware of a problem, they're then aware of a problem, they're investigating a problem, and then they're ready to solve a problem. You've probably heard tofu, mofu, bofu. Tofu is a food, not a marketing strategy. I hate those terminologies because it doesn't get to the crux of what tofu is. So we want to raise awareness about what? The product. What about the product? If you can ask what and why and what and why into it, you've not got to the problem. Well, you've not got to the core reason that something exists. So you should be like a kid with everything in marketing and be like, why, why, why? So I was one of those super annoying kids, and it's actually helped me in marketing because then I go, I don't care about top of funnel or tofu. I care about raising awareness of a specific problem, raising awareness of the specific ways my product solves that problem, and then also what else are the key things you need to raise awareness of. So if you're unaware of a problem, you talk about the problem loads all the time. And again, it all starts there. And then what would you say to someone who's aware, etc.? I'll come on to that in a second. But anyway, it all starts with this story. Now I can share you this template. I'll send this to Arafat. How do you say Yifat? Sorry, how do you say your name? You pronounced it a completely different way that I said it, so I feel bad. But anyway,
No,
Yifat.
no, you pronounced it correctly. Fat is the way.
Okay, Yifat.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'll send this document over. It's super simple. You can like have different rows for products, different ones for personas, and you kind of just fill out the messaging document. And you keep it simple. It's not the ad copy that goes in there that you're going to end up using. It's just a very layman terms way of exactly what is the problem. Okay, what is the solution? What is the benefit? What is the social proof you've got to prove you're even in this conversation? And then the consequences if they don't solve the problem. So it allows you to go an extra layer deep into it. So yeah, obviously you get the problem, you solve it, you get the benefit. You have the problem, you don't solve it, you get the consequence. Okay. Once you've got that layered out, you can start bringing adverts to life that focus on different stages. Okay. You don't want an advert that says, there's this problem, there's this solution, and there's this benefit, and this is the social proof. And if you don't, here's the consequence. Way too much. People have got seconds to digest your adverts and social, not minutes. So adverts should hit different parts of the story, and then over like 100 or 200 impressions at a target account, you've told all the different bits, and the user will have that story in their head. So we need to split out and segment adverts, focus on specific areas of this. So you take that story, that then becomes the foundation of what you're talking about as people kind of go through this problem awareness funnel. And the reason why I love this is because it's the best funnel or terminology for B2B companies, because every B2B purchase needs a business case. You go away and spend thousands of dollars on a software, someone taps you on the back and goes, why did you do that? If you haven't got a good reason, fired. Okay. So you need to help buyers create that business case. So when they go explain it to somebody who goes, all right, why do we need this? Oh, because it's going to increase our ROI. Okay, well, everyone at the company is focused on that, including every single team in a different way. Why do we need this software? If it solves a problem, the benefit is believable. So anyway, that's that one here. If you've got like a one solution, kind of very nifty product, then usually you can get away with just having very simple lines for the story. But if you've got a complex situation with lots of products and lots of personas, usually you have to add those extra layers in. But yeah, I would say Too many lines in this story document becomes unmanageable as well. When you fill out a document like this to be the foundation of all of your messaging, you should focus on the 80-20 principle, right? You could talk about 80% random stuff everyone talks about. You'll be in a board meeting, everyone's got ideas, they throw it up. What's the 20% of stuff you can talk about your product, which is actually why most of the businesses come in? So which is the one service out of all your different products that brings in most business? Talk about that one and upsell them with the other stuff later. So try and get to the core part, because the biggest issue and the reason why this document was birthed is everyone wants to say so much, and it comes to a point where, okay, so if you've got a really complicated story and then you go to somebody and you say, blah, 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 here's all this information, they don't even remember it, right? You can't remember it, and that's why it's problem, solution, benefit at its core. Three things, and it's all about one problem. That's memorable. Too complicated, it's not memorable. Okay, I've gone pretty quick. I probably need to be on 0.5 times speed. But any questions on any of that? We can go to the sexy ads part. Okay, no QAs. Cool. So you've got your foundation. It's time to turn that into sexy ads. What is a sexy ad? Well, this whole idea of a sexy ad is the average click-through rate. So if you're running LinkedIn ads, you probably have a click-through rate of 0.4 to 0.5%, maybe lower if your ads are really boring. Okay, and I've seen them. They usually are stock footage, headline, button in the image, even though all social adverts have a button embedded in every single ad anyway. So it's like, oh, just add an extra CTA to make it look more like an advert and more skippable. That kind of stuff, 0.4 or below. Ads that don't look like ads. So for a second, if you can make someone think this could maybe not be an ad, 1.5% plus click-through rate you can unlock. Memes, 2.5%. So you can get 3 times plus or more higher click-through rate by doing these strategies. And it's all because of this principle. The familiarity principle massively stops ad blindness. What is that? Well, think about retargeting. Everyone knows a retargeting audience gets higher click-through rate. But why? Don't know your brand, low click-through rate. Has heard of your brand, medium click-through rate. Has visited your website, high click-through rate. It's because they're seeing something they already know. They're familiar with it, so they see it. You catch it in the corner of your eye. You're like, oh, yeah, I know that thing. It's kind of triggering something in. So this same principle, the familiarity principle that gets you a higher click-through rate on retargeting because they've seen your logo before, can be used without them even visiting your website or knowing who you are. And that is why you see this advert everywhere. Everyone has somehow found out that this gets a higher click-through rate. Why does this stupid stuff get a higher click-through rate, even though everyone's abusing this ad format? It's that. Now it's no longer doesn't know your brand, low click-through rate. It is they know Apple Notes. They know that visual. They look at it constantly. They recognize it. They're familiar with it. Therefore, it stands out more than that random stock footage that you pulled through and a headline that's boring. These have got up to 0.7, 0.8% click-through rates for some of my clients. So it does really, really well. This stuff is honestly like crack. It's ridiculous how much click-through this get. I'm talking 2 to 3% click-through rates on memes, right? Clicks on LinkedIn at $3 a pop. $25 is what people pay for a click, happily. But then these get clicks at $3. It's nuts. And again, it's because they know the movies. So think about what kind of media or what kind of technology or what kind of visuals in general your persona you're targeting know and are familiar with. Another thing to tap into the layer onto this before I wrap it all together is the mere exposure effect allows you to tap into emotion. So what this is simply because somebody has seen something a lot of times, they will develop an emotion towards it, negative or positive. So it's someone smarter than me wrote this definition. So it's a psychological phenomenon where people like or dislike something merely because it's familiar. Okay. Wordle. No one hates Wordle. Everyone does it. They share their little Wordle thing they've got. Oh, I got it quicker than you. Haha, whatever. That's what my mum and my older brother do. They just share it in the family WhatsApp chat constantly. You see that? The solution. Finally, you get it at the end. The solution. This, hey, CFOs, it might be time to figuring out a problem. Reporting through Ledge, which this brand is for. This is a Ledge advert that we made. It's the whole thing just works. They know Wordle, it's a positive emotion, it's a problem solved. On the right, negative, okay? This is the boss kicking off about something. Have you ever seen a message come through from an email? You see an email come through, it's the CEO, you're like, what is he messaging me about? Fingers crossed, I'm not getting fired. You check it, it's actually something like, oh, have you seen this? And it's like, oh, thank God. So, but you can tap into the positive and negative, mainly negative emotions of a random text from a boss. So again, you can see here, it's like, we need to fix this, and like it's blah, blah, losing money. So that's negative. And then you've got loads of other ideas. You've got billboard tweets. Why do people do a billboard tweet? Well, if you simply take one advert and you stick it on a billboard, a fake billboard, it gets higher click-through rate. Why? Because it just looks like someone's gone out and took a picture, which maybe could not be an advert. So again, for a second, subconsciously, they didn't know it was an advert, so you get higher click-through rate at scale. Then they put a tweet on it, which again, tweets could maybe not be an advert. So again, this stuff, value case, I imagine this is getting click-through rates. We didn't make it. We made similar ones like this, but this one I imagine getting great click-through rates. This one, texts, loads of texts coming in. This one, I made this one for Sidetail. So it's a fake message, and it's got all the stuff like the network connection and stuff at the top to make it look like it's just a screenshot someone shares of their phone to somebody else. And then there's a random Jim Carrey GIF in the middle of it. It's normally moving, actually. It's like, I'm losing my mind, and it's like him moving. So again, weird stuff. This one is quite cool. They have like words that pop up to suggest like the next word you've got. They've used that to hack that visual people know to manage your stress. That's from a B2C brand. This one is just a Google result. We just put a Google ad. It literally says sponsored on it. We put a Google ad in a LinkedIn ad, and it works. And it got a higher click-through rate than a standard advert. And then the one on the final win here, this is the familiarity of friends who swear at each other. Now, I know I've probably said a few already. I don't even notice I'm doing it, but it's just kind of how I am. With my friends, I'm even worse. I'm constantly swearing. And everybody who sees a brand swear is like, that's probably cringe. People just think it's a bit cringe sometimes. Like, oh, brand trying to be cool. But ultimately, if you put effing in your advert, it will get a higher click-through rate. Test it. Do one statement and then one with effing in it. One of them, they think it's social and colloquial and kind of friendly, and one of them isn't. And it literally looks like an advert. Still higher click-through rate. Last one is, I've got loads of these formulas in this library. If you want it, DM me on LinkedIn. You're going to get these slides. Just search me, Joseph Hill or whatever, on LinkedIn. You can find me, and I can send you this ad library. But if you combine all these theories, so you can do other psychological theories too. So like the law of candor. We're not great at tech support, but you won't need it because our product is so simple and effective. Highlight a negative to make a product more a positive more believable. If you use all those psychological tricks you may have come across before with a clear foundation of your story with adverts that don't look like adverts and other stuff like the familiarity principle, that's where you can really unlock a level of click-through rate and lower CPCs that will probably shock you. And if you do all of this, the last bit, whilst being clear with a powerful visual, and again, focus on that problem story, you end up with sexy ads. And there's sexy Spider-Man. So, there's actually one more bit before I'll come to these Q&As. And treat your ad like a front cover. Don't put everything in it. That's why I always say, what are you focusing on? Like, are you doing, here's this massive problem, and by the way, we can solve it? Or are you saying, you know that problem? Here is that way that I solve it, and I go into more detail about how I solve it. Or the benefit is like, you know that problem? We solve it, and you get this ROI. Here's a customer that got it. Okay, so it's like, touch on a little bit of the problem, a lot of the solution. Or a lot of the problem, a little bit of the solution. Don't try and do all of it at once. You need to use your adverts like strategically in the sense that you probably want to use this front cover part like a book. So that's you grab attention with powerful visuals and creative visuals. Sorry, powerful copy and creative visuals. Then up here, again, you don't want to have too much text. This is just more of a deeper explanation of what we were just talking about, maybe going into the solution more or the problem more, or both a little bit, but not too much. Because again, people aren't going to read an essay. And then on the headline, I really like to make that a teaser for what they're going to get if they click. So you can XYZ with brand, or save XYZ with brand, whatever it is. Call out what the next page is going to be, because that's essentially what it is. If you click a button and it isn't what you expected, what does that cause? bounce rate. So tell them what they're about to click and what they're about to see. I'll shut up now. We've got some Q&As. So is click-through
We do,
rate...
sorry, Joe, we do have one in the chat section if you want to start out with that one.
Okay, I'll jump in there. Found them.
It's what about copyright? Can I just use Star Wars images for commercial purposes?
Gray area. Don't come and don't tell, if you get pulled through the courts, don't be like, well, Joseph said you could do it. It's a gamble, okay? But people gamble on the fact that Star Wars is probably not going to sue you. Now, there is one case, right? The guy who holds up the cardboard, he actually tried to sue a company because I think they took it and used it on a packaging or something like that. But yeah, like some of my clients do it. I always say though, I say, look, we recommend doing some memes. It's a gray area. Loads of people do it. Do it at your own risk. You'd be surprised how many brands are willing to take that small risk for the sake of dramatic improvements. Now, you can license some memes. So you buy the license, you use those. You could also edit the meme. So one thing I've been doing is taking, like there's some actually in the ad formula library, and it's let me find it. It's they basically take the meme. There it is. So Zingtree do amazing ads. They've taken the Drake meme, illustrated it, so you could argue that it's not the actual meme and it's technically in their own brand colors, and then done this. So this is very hard to sue someone for because you've changed it. So if you've got a good designer, if you're very conscious about it, I would take the meme, illustrate it, put it in your own brand colors, change something about it. They'll know it's the meme, but you're off the hook for copyright. But again, I'm not a lawyer, but I do know people do it just with the memes themselves, and we've not had any problems so far. But yeah, not a lawyer. Just want to say that again. Okay. Is click-through rate the only crucial parameter to validate the B2B ad? No. So obviously conversions is the number one factor, right? You want to be getting conversions. People say, I'm not driving conversions, so what else do I look at? At that point, you probably want to be looking at clicks and click-through rate to see if they're finding it interesting. But then I would probably think about the funnel, right? So you've got, is someone going to click the ad? Then you've got, do they spend a lot of time on the website? And then you've got, do they do anything on the website? And if you don't have enough data points, you keep on having to go back towards just ended up being a click-through rate. But realistically, I do look at click-through rate as one of the main things. It's usually conversions, and I always have click-through rate as the secondary judge. However, if I don't have any conversions, for some strange reason, I use click-through rate as the main judge. And what I actually do is we'll go through, so we'll have like 10, 15 ads in a campaign in LinkedIn, and we'll go through, look at 30 days, pause down the 5 that are the worst, launch 5 new ones, look at the click-through rate again next month. Obviously adjusting the amount of creatives you can test based on the budget. But yeah, a lot of people say like, oh, well, if you do an advert that's just like a meme or some stupid Apple Notes thing, you aren't telling people to convert, so you're not going to get any conversions. But I will tell you, half my clients don't say book a demo in any of their adverts, and we let other people convince themselves, and they are driving the lowest cost per demos, and they don't mention book a demo once until you get onto the landing page. So yeah, that's just a takeaway. 2025 is different. If you say book a demo, you bore people. Okay, memes are not for the finance fintech audience. Maybe true or not, depends. I've got clients that do compliance technology. I've got clients who do accounting technology. Like you name a boring industry, the people who work there are waiting for somebody to crack a joke because everything is so boring. Some of the compliance one, you can literally look at the ad that I had previously. This is for Ledge, an accounting software targeting finance companies. This one, ISO 27001, effing sucks. That's a compliance industry. If you want to talk about boring industries, compliance is top tier. So yeah, I would say the more boring the industry, the bigger opportunity, because everybody usually thinks, we can't do this because our industry is boring. But when you actually manage to somehow turn it into this interesting format and make jokes and use common things that people know, you actually get the best results ever. And your competitors aren't doing it. So yeah, I appreciate it. I used to think this as well. Back in the day, I've heard lots of people say it to you, not the only one, but I heavily disagree that there's an industry that is too boring to do this. The only thing is when it comes to like maybe lawyers, like you don't want to make insensitive jokes, okay? But like everyone knows compliance is kind of boring, so why not call it out in a funny way? Okay. Um, are you leveraging any AI tools to create sexy ads? There's more slides, and I make a joke about AI being really shit for creating copy because it is. So use AI to create like crazy stuff. Like we created for another client. We've got it's all about communication, right? So we've got an AI, and it's got a bottle, and inside the bottle there's like a message. I've also got a pigeon flying through the air with notes in its mouth and stuff. But we use AI to create some of the features of the adverts, but we actually use an actual qualified, professional, amazing designer to bring it to the perfect, well-rounded, really good, sexy ad. However, same goes with copy. Sometimes even I throw stuff into ChatGPT for ideation, but ChatGPT is never going to be able to replicate the human emotion, like the stuff that we've done now. There's apparently people are saying Claude's pretty good compared to everything else, right? So I'm open to have my mind changed, but I spent like 6 months ago. I spent like hours and hours and hours and hours trying to train a chat GPT to do something a man or a woman could, or a human could do, and it can't do it. So yeah, AI, use it for part of it, but you need a human to actually bring it out and do the final packaging of it. And I don't know if that's going to change for a very long time until it gets to like epic levels. Do you think memes are worth? Oh yeah, these are really coming in. We got 7. Do you think memes are worth doing more for organic posts as well due to higher engagement? Yes, do them for organic and do them for paid. And the best way you can do it as well inside a LinkedIn campaign, create an ad, have it as an ad in one LinkedIn campaign, and when you put it into another one of your campaigns, pull through that actual ad. So you can do select existing asset. At that point, that comes through. You've got the same advert linked to 4 campaigns. For one of our clients, we've got an ad. It's got 269 likes as an advert, right? It's one of the meme ones. It's a funnier one. But yeah, it's like that helps. We see an advert and it's got 269 likes on it. Like it helps with click-through rate. What if you have high click-through rates ads that are not converting and vice versa, converting ads that don't seem to get high click-through rate? Is there an element of randomness to what converts? So you should 100% be looking at conversions, right? But you got to make a balanced choice, right? You can't go all in on click-through rate. You can't go all in on conversions. If people are clicking it, they're clicking it for a reason. So if you're generating like hundreds of conversions elsewhere, and there's just one that's got a high click-through rate, but it doesn't convert, maybe pause it. But if in general you're dealing with low conversion numbers, 10, 20, 30 demos a month, one of them's got a high click-through rate, I'd maybe keep it around. There is an element of randomness to what converts. Some of the WhatsAppy stuff converts really well from what I've seen. And then swearing in an advert is also really good. But yeah, I think overall, you got to think about the strategy, which I'll come on to. So what is the objective of the campaign? If the objective is conversions, judge it on conversions. If the objective is to get a problem statement out there so people associate you with the problem, high click-through rate probably does that. So maybe don't judge it too much on conversions. Creating an ad is also about crafting great copy. You got any tips here? Just because you're creating ads for B2B companies doesn't mean you should craft copy in the business language. Do you agree? 100%. Don't write boring. I go onto pitches and I swear at everybody, and people still want to work with me. There's this whole idea that you have to be this professional, like buttoned up person to work in, like own a company or do anything. And I'm the exact opposite. I'm an absolute mess, right? So, I mean, as far as the sales tactic, I've actually found I have a really high conversion rate on sales meetings. It's because I cut the bullshit and I just talk one to one. I swear, I say things, I just talk to them like they're a human. That same thing is exactly what is working in all the adverts, which are B2B focused. Boring industries. Everyone else is got buttoned up with a shirt and tie and being super boring. You come in, act like a human. Humans are drawn to other humans. So I always say, talk like a human. It doesn't matter what it is. Never ever get caught doing corporate jargon. And if you do see something corporate jargon, you can usually say it to say the exact same thing in a less boring way. And that's one of the things that we focus on. And I get our copywriters to focus on as well. And we have a lot of success with it. How do you guarantee results like increased clear rate? I mean, I've been around the block. I've done 10 years in advertising now, and I know, like, if you do something 10 times, it's like, okay, I mean, I can probably say it's likely to happen. That being said, you could do everything I say and not have success because the product you're selling is just a crap product. So again, it's all dependent, and the product is a massive thing. I say, but then these increases, they are averages. I'll be completely honest. Certain industries are just harder to get a click from than others. Um, so yeah, I would say these are average increases, not every single time it's been 3x. But usually it is around that, because if it's an industry that's really struggling, then your baseline is going to be lower. And so your increase is likely to be like from 0.2 to 0.3 to 0.6, 0.7, but that's still 2 to 3x times increase in respective. What's your top bit of advice for a designer on making B2B ads more captivating but struggling to pin down a solid strategy? Get my ad formula and copy all the ads in it, I'd probably say. As far as a design is concerned, if you send something and you say, make something like this, they always do it. If you explain something in a paragraph, they're visual people, they're not going to do it right. So the reason why I made the ad library, so I've got 3 ad libraries, one for Google, one for LinkedIn formulas, and then one for just LinkedIn, which is like 400 ads. The reason why I made those is because it started around metadata time, right? I was making loads of creative for all the metadata clients, coming in and going to different clients, going around. And I realized I needed to quickly create a way of sending a brief to a designer and getting it right every time. And so I needed visual examples. So get visual examples, use those. What's your view of LinkedIn forms versus website conversion? LinkedIn forms convert higher, 100%. But after you get them, they usually convert less in the next stages. Website forms, it's usually more expensive with a lower conversion rate, but when they come through, again, it's actually a higher conversion rate. So yeah, your conversion of the actual lead gen forms like up here, form is down here. But when it actually goes to converting from a lead to a meeting to a deal, etc., it's usually like this. Why? Well, if you fill out a lead on the website, you can immediately have a calendar pop up, and that's a weird sentence. And then you can select your time, immediately book. If it's through a lead gen form, you have to like gamble and hope that they click a calendar or follow up, etc. So it's just better to route and deal stuff through that. According to you, what's the best LinkedIn B2B ad analytics software? I mean, the guys over at Hockey Stack are doing some pretty good stuff. I mean, there's guys over at Metadata are doing some pretty good stuff. Spotlight's awesome as well. I've seen that. I do everything using Funnel. So I pump in stuff from HubSpot, Salesforce into Funnel, and I take all the ad platforms into Funnel, take my budgeting sheet into Funnel, and then create a data studio dashboard, which is more B2B focused. But then analytics is pretty good if you get all your offline conversions. So I'd say it's not about what software you're using, but what reports you make. Be focused on the stuff that matters, and it doesn't really matter. All of them can basically do the same thing. Have you had any success with more corporate senior audiences, e.g., partners in a law firm? Yeah, like think about the most boring people. I've usually done an advert to them that is slightly less boring and had a better click-through rate. But I've also had some spectacular failures, I'll be honest. Like some products are just like, if you get given a bad product and you get told to sell it, it's incredibly hard. So on occasion, in a very rare circumstance, it's just been impossible to do it. And I mean, that's just honesty, and any marketer will tell you the same. But most of the time, yeah, super senior audiences is kind of all my clients want to go after. VPs, CXOs, directors. Every single client usually comes in and goes, "Yeah, I want to target decision makers," and it's like, okay, well, let's do that then. And then we put in all the job titles, and that's the people we target. How do you make your clients follow? How do you make your clients to follow your content creation structure? I often see scenarios where clients feel they know ads better than anyone else, even though they might have no marketing experience. Okay, for that, I say test it. Right, so easy. They've got loads of feedback and it's crushing you to create stuff. Do a version for them, do a version for you, put it live. If you're right, the data will show it. I have sometimes tested stuff and I've won. And usually I actually won because I only do the test if I know it's for a reason. But sometimes the client's right and they actually do some really good stuff. And the memes you can get from clients too. Don't create the memes yourselves. Get the expert in the field to do it because they'll hit that audience with pain and the way it's worded better than anybody else. So yeah, do use your client's stuff, but just test it. It's easy. Run 2 ads. How do you measure the effectiveness of these questions? Just keep coming in. How do you measure the effectiveness of LinkedIn ads for B2B SaaS enterprise campaigns? Pipeline. If it's not driving pipeline, it's not working. There's many ways to drive pipeline, whether it's your influence on a deal that's converted, etc. There's no excuse to not focus on pipeline. When do companies focus to launch paid ads? In which stage do they consider it? When the product is sellable, you can start doing paid ads, but usually you can clean up some early stuff. So early stage startups can usually use like a founder profile, personal connections, partnership deals to just get higher ROI deals without injecting money into it. But if you've got money and you're driving profit, you should allocate a portion of that profit into ads to keep the company growing. So when you've got profit or loads of millions of investment, which is kind of the industry we work in, how much impact do landing pages have on conversion? Immense impact. You send people to a boring landing page with the best ads, they're going to bounce. So if it's a really bad landing page, I kind of try and do like a lead gen form. Thankfully, we've got designers, we create our own landing pages. So if it's really, really bad, I kind of just say, look, here's a Figma, do something like that. Either you create it or I'll create it, and I just get the Figma done, sometimes for free. If they don't want to pay, I'm like, well, they're going to churn anyway if the performance is really bad. So I'll just get a Figma made for free and send it over and say, let's just make this. Calling out competitor with bad customer support or bad energy for customer base in direct, aggressive way, experiment, not ethical. 100%. I'm about to show you some stuff that I do on Google where we just call out and start wars with like going after competitor stuff. But ultimately, ask your compliance team. If you don't have a compliant team, ask someone above you. So if anything goes crazy, you got permission from somebody else. How much impact do landing pages have? Creating multiple different landing pages priced to your ad style. If you get to the point where you're doing loads of landing pages, it's usually a lot of work, and then something happens, you need to update them all. So I try and limit the amount of landing pages that you have, and then have like sections that speak to everyone. So a section that has like 4 different personas in one landing page. Just have like a persona section where you speak to everybody. It allows you to do one really good one rather than multiple. But 100% test stuff. But if you get to the point where you're running 20 landing pages, you probably have a lot to manage just on that side. How do you tailor B2B ads to resonate with audiences from different regions, say America versus Brits? Everyone speaks English. I'm very fortunate of that because I'm British. I'm very happy that Americans speak English too, because it means I can take all the money. Anyway, I speak English mainly to every audience. And I mean, you want to call out some stuff. And like for Israel, for example, Israelis are very precious about their identity, and you really do need to translate your adverts there. France as well, Germans can be a little bit specific. But like the Norways and the Swedes, they're basically English. Well, they're not, obviously, but they're very confident dealing in English. But if you go to Quebec in Canada, you might as well speak French because they're also very passionate about their French and stuff. And there's actually a really big study on this topic. Google Quebec French Pepsi, and you'll read some very interesting stuff about the power localization can have. Show me the ad that you have struggled to create. Show me the ad that you have struggled to create. I'm not sure what you mean. Do you mean the industry where it was really crap? I'm not sure what you mean about that one. How do you run effective one-on-one campaigns? Audience size of the company is less than 100. You have to go broad on your targeting. You have to do functions. How do we get more desktop-only traffic on LinkedIn ads? It's mostly 80% mobile traffic. 85% of access on LinkedIn is mobile. You basically just have to optimize your website for mobile. What's your ad design process for B2B audience? I have a planner and I go through it, get the foundation, get the visual, make the ad. Okay, I'm going to keep things moving because we've got more slides to get through. Okay. All right, I need a sip of a beverage. What time are we on? Okay, I can keep going, you're fat, for another 10 minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay. You had a lot of questions going on there. They kept on coming. This is amazing. Yeah, keep
No
on
worries.
going. If we
Okay.
have any other questions, you can address them at the end, or we can follow up with some email if that's easier.
Awesome. Yeah, I've got also just feel free to hit me up on LinkedIn. I'll respond when I can, and I've got a call in 15 minutes. So I've got to jump, but I'll get through the rest of it. So you need to put it all together with a powerful strategy. So remember that funnel: unaware, aware, investigating, ready to solve. There's a lot of people not ready to buy, and it's most people. So don't scare them off by shouting demo, and that's what I was talking about earlier. You need to focus on your problem there. You need to instead focus on telling short stories which help people at different stages. If someone's aware of the problem, you should talk about how your product solves the problem. If someone's unaware of your problem, you should talk about the symptoms of having that problem and the impact it can have, and various things like that. However, how do you know what stage people are in? It can get really blurry, right? Pixels aren't perfect, cookies aren't perfect. Ultimately, everyone's guessing. And when you create a really, really strict funnel that says only this person gets this creative and only this person gets this creative, you do more harm than good. Everyone loves tofu, mofu, bofu and only putting certain things in there. And I don't necessarily agree with that strategy, if I'm completely honest. And that's because this is what happens. You have someone has the first impression, and then loads of random stuff happens, and then they randomly convert 3 months later, and everyone's like, "I did something, but did you?" Like, maybe you did, maybe you didn't. And the order they digested things is probably wild as well. Somewhere there's something that happened that you couldn't track. So if you try and predict the future of what people need to know at different stages, it's near impossible because the data you're basing it off is flawed. Pixels is flawed. All the iOS stuff, deleting cookies, all that stuff, flawed. Okay, so you can't be sure when you create a funnel that you're not actually hurting your strategy. And that's a random gift from Hangover, I think. I don't know. Anyway, that's why at Revenue we break campaigns into 3 different strategies: problem awareness, product awareness, conversion. These give us clear objectives, clear focuses on what kind of ads get made, but we don't get bogged down in only showing certain things to certain audiences. We focus on shifting the budget based on what we need at the time. Now, again, it takes a lot of strategic thinking and things like that to kind of run this to a certain extent. But as far as like a super simple way to do this, you put your memes, your ads that don't look like content, so the ads that don't look like ads, and your thought leadership and your problem awareness, and you mainly talk about the problem. Then you have a budget that only talks about your product ads, social proof, use cases. Then you have campaigns that only talk about interactive demos, free trials, live demos, incentive ads, all that different stuff, combo ads, pushing a conversion. This means that you have, again, clear objectives. Everything in the conversion campaign has to be driving conversions. Everything in the product awareness campaigns has to be driving clicks from stuff talking about the product. Problem awareness, that's where you do your fun stuff. Clear homes for all your different types of ads. Best thing about this, how many brands do you know that just talk about the product and it's super boring? How many do you know that just does memes and it's like not really talking about the product? How many do you know that only do conversion ads? And it's because usually they have a campaign and it's got all the ads in it with all the mixed strategies. Split them out, different campaigns, different focuses, and everybody gets everything. Okay, your retargeting audience should get your memes as well. Why on earth, if you think about it, when someone visits your website and they leave, should you only say book a demo to them when I showed you a stat at the start that says most people don't even want to book a demo? It's the least likely way they want to learn more about a product, and everyone hates ads. So basically, as soon as someone becomes high value, everyone usually goes, let's really annoy them with boring things. And yeah, you've got to do it to an extent, but there's no reason that if they've clicked a meme ad and gone to your website, that's what they like. You should still show a bit of stuff and get to know them a little bit. Show more impressions, have more memes show. LinkedIn will know to show different stuff. It won't show the same ad to everybody every time. So let everything mix up. Ads on Google can be really sexy too. How many times have you Googled an ad, seen an advert on Google that looks like this? #1 chili piper alternative, best chili piper alternative. I mean, I swear you just said that at the first part of the advert. Now you said it twice. You could have said something else, right? So you don't want to be really, really repetitive. And this is what happens when you lean on AI for your complete optimization of your adverts and what shows. This is a live ad that I pulled. It showed, Google said this was the best 2 headlines in the advert to show. And it was basically the same headline twice. So start pinning. Put your what in position 1, a why in position 2. What that means is when you Google something, you're looking for something. Make that your position 1. So it's like, I'm looking for this. Okay, I've found this. Okay, what if 5 ads show up? Why would they pick yours over everybody else? You put a why in the advert as well. Simple. To do this, you just have to pin 4 or 5 what's in position 1, and then 4 or 5 whys in position. Well, you don't have to pin them. I usually leave it open because you also want to let Google feel like you're not restricting it too much. So I usually just pin the position 1s and let everything else that's why orientated show in position 2 and 3, which sometimes shows up as well. So that's the structure, what it looks like. And it stops this from happening. This should say number one chili piper alternative. We're cheaper and we're better. I don't know if they are. Again, I like the guys at Chili Paper, so but that's an idea. You can do this on competitor ads as well. So, for example, if you Google Scroot compliance software, you could pop up and be like, Scroot, you mean Sidetail, right? We get startups compliant fast. It's not putting a dagger in anyone's heart. It's just being smart, right? But yeah, call out competitors, but do it in like a tasteful way. Don't like go too aggressive, because people will be like, they're obviously just being aggressive because they're the other person and the other side, and they don't trust you then. So do it playfully. But yeah, this, you can do a call out that's like funny and talks about the competitor, and then get your why in position 2. This one, need to get compliant fast. Sidetail is the best choice. Again, the context, they're looking for compliance. Need to get compliant fast. They've Googled for compliance for competitors, so obviously they do. Then the redirect towards you. We're the best people to do that. 5 redirects or 5 contexts, whatever, pin them in position 1 and let everything else show in the other position. Then you need to make sure you get some good image extensions in there. The biggest, easiest, quick win when a client joins revenue, we go, have you got any image extensions? They say no. We make some. We get higher click-through rate. It's low-hanging fruit. And also making sure you got awesome site links, because randomly your advert will just be 10 times bigger if you have site links. So just make sure you've got those done as well. And that is how you make sexy ads, even though it's just text and sometimes images. Okay, I've got to stop. I could keep going. That's enough for today. However, okay, one last thing. Gated content, really don't like it. So take 100,000 people, okay? They click an ad, 1% click-through rate. That's high on LinkedIn. That means 1,000 people have got to the next stage. That's your LinkedIn lead gen form. That has a conversion rate of 5%, which is quite high. That means 50%, sorry, not 50% of them, no, sorry, 5% of 1,000 actually fill out the form and get the content, okay? 50 people from 100,000. Let's remove the form. 100,000 people, 1% click-through rate. It goes directly to that content. 1,000 people get that content. Remove the form, your message reaches 20 times more people on average. What's more important, collecting an email or getting your message out there? If you put bulk of your message in your content, don't put a form there. If you've got an unbelievable piece of gated content, right? And honestly, sometimes does actually convert into sales. I know 2 programs I've come across in all my time in marketing that actually it works at a profitable rate. 2 out of hundreds of companies that I've worked with. But this is the main principle. They are the exception to this rule. This is the rule. All right, that's actually it. I do have a gift for you. You can have all my ad libraries. So all the ad formulas, loads of Google ad examples that you can just copy, and also the LinkedIn ad formula library. No, the Google Ads library, the LinkedIn ad library, and the ad formula library, which is separate, which just lists out all the different ad formulas that I use. All you have to do is come say hello in LinkedIn. So message me, I want the ad formulas, or I want the libraries, and I'll just send you the libraries. And thank you very much. If you throw me a follow and like some of my posts in return, I will be forever in your debt. And you can ask me random stuff as well. Okay, got time for 2 last questions. Marcos Brown says,
Oh,
yay, I agree.
we do
Oh,
have a
sorry.
couple of questions. Sorry, yeah, we do have a couple questions. No, I actually think we just have one. Let me just pop that up for you.
Could you explain slightly more in depth the structure across different stages? Yeah, so basically this on the left-hand side, the funnel, that's the mentality a user goes through when they learn about a product and they buy it. However, it does not mean that you should create your structure in your marketing campaigns that way. This is simply to inform how the structure is made. That is why I create 3 different campaign groups inside of LinkedIn, and inside of that I'll have various campaigns. But the objective is clear. If at any point you're trying to do 2 things with a campaign, fails. You need to have one clear goal. And that is why I put all this type of content in here, all this type of content in here, and all this type of content in here. Now, your FAT's going to share all of these slides so you can go through them to anybody who's signed up. So please go through, dive into it. But the idea is we basically need to, if this statement is true, then creating a really funneled setup is wrong. And the statement is, once someone clicks on your website, should you only show them boring stuff like book a demo ads? And the answer is no. once someone clicks on your website, should you show them memes and various things, and also various book a demo things? The answer is yes. That's why I follow this everyone gets everything. Now you can weight it so you spend more on retargeting when it comes to your conversion ads than your cold audience, and then you can also spend more on the cold audiences on your problem side. But the idea that you should only show someone based on a different stage one type of ad and make it like really restrictive is an assumption that you know the best thing to show them, and you can't make that assumption, and the data you base it off is also incorrect. Do you think is this statement true? This is not true. This is spoiler alert. People on your retargeting audience are the only ones that are ready to talk to your sales team. That is not true. Number one, because cookies and pixels drop off, and number two, because you could actually get loads of cold demos, and I actually do that for my clients. Random people out of the blue, never been on the website, book a demo on their first visit because you do sexy ads. Okay, that one's that one. What's your view on sharing high quality stats?
Ooh, sorry, I just popped that off. There we
Okay,
go.
no worries. What's your view on sharing high quality stat charts from proprietary reports over and over? How soon do you get blind? I mean, if you've got one stat which is unbelievable, such as you give us $1, we will give you five back, or something crazy like that, and you've got studies for it, just do it again, but slightly tweak it, come up with a different way to share it, loads of different visuals. But yeah, if you've got a message that works, don't change it. There's one message that works for Google. Give us $500 and we'll give you another $500, and that's the rule. And you have to spend 500, and then Google will give you $500 in credit to sign up. That new customer offer has not changed in the last 10 years. I've seen it. So why change it if it works? Okay.
Amazing. That has been a marathon. Thank you so much, Joe. And thank you, everyone, for all these amazing questions. Love today's session. If you haven't already, feel free to join the demand community to engage with other demand gen marketers and keep the conversation going. Thank you so much, Joe. And thank you for everyone who joined.
Yeah, awesome. Get in demand. I'm in there as well.
Bye, guys. See you.
Bye.